HD2 Northport and W265CG Tuscaloosa. Town Square Media Station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Alabama first and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we played the center, and you were playing fullback up there. And I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. You were starting to pick up the whole weight room. I really resisted, and I learned that thing back biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial. You can find us at Martin Houston 35 on Twitter. Also, Martin Houston Live on Facebook and YouTube, and at Tide 109 on Facebook. Simulcasting in all those places at the same time. At the same time, we are getting feedback. At the same time, we are moving forward on all of those outlets. We want to invite you to get in on the conversation at 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline. Alabama One hotline is open for business. Once again, that number is 205-342-9904. You can also jump in on the conversation on the various chat outlets via those social media platforms. So we look forward to hearing from you. I want to thank Joe and the team for covering yesterday. Had opportunity to go to the West Alabama prayer breakfast on yesterday morning, which happens to start right in the middle of the show. So glad to be back with you. Of course, breaking news and on several fronts that I want to get into and talk about, and we'll talk about that as well as we're quickly approaching Alabama's annual A-Day game this Saturday. Want to talk to you about what you're looking for, maybe even see if you have any bold predictions. And to help with that conversation, we have X's and O's, Xavier Houston, joining us today. Good morning, X. How you doing?
Good morning. Doing well. How are you doing this morning?
Doing well. I want to remind you, as we do each and every day, that this is a day that the Lord has made. So let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Wow, a lot happening. There's so many things to get to in terms of what's happening in the sports world. So the playbook today is bold predictions for A-Day. We can talk about that. Transfers in and out when it comes to Alabama. Dabo's ranting. Is Dabo make it a little true false on there? Is Dabo hurting himself potentially in the long run? High Tide tradition. I know there was some conversation on that. I'd like to get your thoughts on that as well. Last but not least, we'll give a shout out to Alabama baseball. Man, they've won 7 in a row. So Coach Bohannon getting things done on the diamond. So heading into a big weekend, maybe they can keep the ball rolling. So Well, X, let's just get started with, of course, the big news. We've been talking about it, and Tyler Steen coming to the Crimson Tide. Just what's your initial thoughts in terms of Steen ended up over the cap show?
I mean, I think it's a big get for Bama, especially if he can live up to the hype. Nick Saban has done a really good job as far as getting transfers in that are able to contribute and contribute at a high level. So I definitely think losing Evan Neal to the NFL draft and Chris Owens, a sixth-year senior, getting someone with experience is going to be clutch there. And if you really look at what he's done as a whole with the transfer portal this offseason, he's filled needs at every position. Losing Brian Robinson, losing Jameis, Slade, and John, losing both corners, and he's replaced guys at every position.
Yeah, and so I get the question, the follow up question. Exciting news. Um, I know I've heard some people say, "Well, he is a left tackle coming from Vanderbilt." Guys, this dude has started 3 years in the SEC and probably has had to work harder than any other tackle in the SEC. I'm not going to dog him because he ended up at Vanderbilt. That he could have morphed and grown and matured, etc. And could be a potential first rounder. Who knows? So I don't dog him.
He is from St. Thomas Aquinas as well, so that's a powerhouse.
But and here's the thing: the reason there was a lot of conversation on whether he was going to end up at Alabama was supposedly because the kid's also an academic kid. High IQ, intelligent. And academics meant something to him, so he could have potentially gone other places when he chose Vanderbilt. It could have been a combination of football and school as well. But I guess my question is, Xavier, would you rather have a 5-star recruit out of high school that started 3 years that everybody says and thinks can play college football, or would you rather have a 3-year starter that's played against SEC talent if you're replacing a first rounder and a 6-year guy?
Yeah, I would definitely take the guy that played in the SEC for 3 years and been good in the SEC for 3 years.
Yeah.
And like you said, being at Vanderbilt, he's not surrounded by the talent that a lot of these other guys are. So this kid's work ethic might be next level.
That's right. So here's the question. True, false. Tyler Steen starts at left tackle this fall.
I'm gonna go true.
Oh wow. I'm not sure he'll start at left tackle or right tackle. He's played both. Because I could see a situation or scenario where Latham or one of the other ends up being the guy. I mean, Latham is a talented guy. He could end up still being that guy at left tackle, but a Latham left tackle, Steen right tackle, Ekior, McLaughlin, and Cohen is probably a better offensive line than what we had last year, because the 3 inside guys are only going to be more experienced and better. Latham will not be as good as Neal, but Steen would be better at right tackle, right? Or if you flip the tackles, either way, I think that combination may give us a better chance at being improved. So kudos to Tyler Steen. Bryce Young politically correct on how he handled it in terms of just saying, "Hey, helps a shorthanded guy," but I know he's a happy guy this morning. So I don't know if you've heard that Nick Saban may not be finishing the portal.
I have. That is something I have heard.
Yeah, did you hear who may be coming?
Yes, a Henry Ruggs, Jameson Williams type player, from what I understand.
Yeah, Louisville wide receiver Harrell. They're Tyler Harrell may be the next guy to land here, and to me, he's kind of one of those a native Miami guy. We got to have us a Miami guy. We just lost one, so we got to have us a Miami receiver. But he played at Louisville, but he only caught 18 passes last year. But those 18 passes were 523 yards and 6 touchdowns. He's a top end guy. His average per catch last year was 29.1 yards X. And supposedly he's been clocked at, you know what? You know what his speed was?
I think somebody said it was like a 4.25.
Under 4.2. Unofficially, he's been so. Oh man, Nick Saban. If Nick Saban gets this, he would literally have replaced the speed and added to it in terms of of Jameson Williams. To me, what's his name seems to be as good or a better version of Mechie Burton, and he's and Curtis Lewis said he's an official 4.29. That's why I said unofficial. They said I was listening to some guys talk about it last night. He was clocked under a 4.2 unofficially. So I don't care if you're official. I don't care if you're official, unofficial. If you in the 4.2, 4.1, or 4.3. You're a speed merchant. So he stretches the field, and let me read. Here's the scary part. Let me see if I can find that story on him. And his coach actually said the following. Here's what you have to hate. This is Louisville current head coach. He doesn't want to be known as just a guy that runs by people. And this spring, he's made a point of underneath catches, curl routes, digs, catching the ball. Satterfield said he's improved as much as anybody in the 3 years I've been here. Just in his work every single day, putting it in, it's been tremendous. So here's a guy who was known as a speed guy who spent the all off season in the spring, and spend all this time getting better, and then he's gonna leave. Curtis Lewis asked a question that I'll answer on the other side. Why was he only a 3-star coming out of high school? Hey, listen, not all the rankings mean everything, and some guys mature sooner. But we can dig into that as well. We can continue the conversation talking about what this guy means to Alabama, and what Tyler Steen means to Alabama, and is Dabo Swinney. I do want to talk about that. Does Dabo Swinney need to be careful about what he's putting on the record regarding NIL and transfer portal, or is he right? Is his concerns right? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about high tide tradition. We'll talk about A-Day. If you have a thought, comment, conversation you want to bring to the table, you can post it on our chat, or you can give us a call at 205-342-9904, the Alabama One hotline, open for business. Go check out Alabama One right now. Great promotions going on regarding our commercial and ag equipment, as well as our toys, recreational vehicles, including boats, motorcycles, RVs, UTVs, golf carts, and more. That's right. And if you get it right now, you can place an order with a side of Big Green Egg. That's right. We're giving away 12 Big Green Eggs if you get an approved and closed loan with Alabama One. Go to alabama1.org and find out more details. Just click on the banners and follow the instructions there, or stop by one of our branch locations, and our loan officers will be glad to assist you. That's Alabama One, one together.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, good Wednesday morning to you. Traffic light, no active wrecks. We do have some light shower activity around the area, so please slow down and be careful. If you see conditions, just give me a call, 205-886-8886. Now's the time to save at your hometown dealer. It's Townsend Nissan of Tuscaloosa. Great selection. Go see them. I can't break.
In a collision, easy decision. Make one call to one name, Mesrano, 206-6300.
No representation made that quantum legal services to be performed. Takes where the quantum legal services performed by the lawyer.
Ask big.
Have you seen our artisan-created diamonds? If you've been in a room with one, you can't miss it.
Tom Osmond from Fincher and Osmond.
It's a diamond like I've never seen.
He's seen a lot of diamonds.
Ask big.
At Fincher and Osmond, you can put artisan-created diamonds side by side with mined diamonds. When you see it,
more importantly, when she sees it.
FincherandOsmond.com.
McFarland Boulevard between Edgar's and Local Roots.
O'Reilly. This is Sarah's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
Driving cross-country with 2 young children is ambitious, to say the least. Then our check engine light came on. We pulled into O'Reilly Auto Parts and they tested it. Turned out it was a faulty sensor. They referred us to a great mechanic just down the street, and we were back on the road in no time.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Relax and recharge with all your buddies while you watch all your favorite games at R&R Cigars. They have a large walk-in humidor with a great selection of name brand cigars for all flavor profiles and taste preferences. R&R Cigars is Tuscaloosa's only whiskey bar and several big screen TVs to watch your favorite team with theater seating and Wi-Fi. So if you're looking for the ultimate venue to watch all your favorite sports, stop by R&R Cigars on 6th Street in Tuscaloosa and next to Winn-Dixie on McFarland Boulevard in Northport.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Warm and breezy today with a few isolated showers possible, a high 82. Thunderstorms arrive late tonight, mainly after midnight. The storms can be severe. The main threat coming from strong straight line winds, the low 55. Clearing tomorrow with a high 73. I'm James Spann of the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 68 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Sophomart Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at southmarkdesign.com.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
All right, welcome back into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. And don't forget about Penny Profit Dry Cleanings. Penny Profit Dry Cleanings located at 2730 Stillman Boulevard. Go check them out. It is the home of the inexpensive dry cleaning, $389 per garment, $389 per garment for the dry cleaning. You can also get a special deal, discounted rate on their already low rates for laundered shirts by, by telling them that you heard about them right here on the Martin Houston Show, and you can get those shirts laundered for $199. That's $199 laundered shirts if you mention to them that you heard about them right here on the Martin Houston Show, and that is Penny Profit Dry Cleaning. Tell him you heard about him right here on the Martin Houston Show. And then, hey, listen, if you have to pay full price for that laundered shirt, you're still looking at getting a great deal at only $225. Check them out. That's Penny Profit Dry Cleaning, the home of the inexpensive but quality dry cleaning and laundry. All right, let's get back to it. The conversation X we were having, like I said, Curtis Lewis asked why was Tyler Harrell only a 3-star recruit coming out of high school. That's a good question. And he followed up why none of the bigger schools recruited him out of high school. Also, he didn't get faster at Louisville. I don't know this kid's high school story. I don't know if he, played 1 year and was just fast. I don't know if he played, a lot and just never could get into it. I don't know if it was a height thing. I don't know if it was go back and look at who the other wide receivers were coming out. Don't know if he financially couldn't afford to go to camps. There's so many things that go. Hey, listen, if y'all think the best athletes are the ones that are rated as 5 stars, if you think that's the best players in college football, I got some swampland I want to sell you and tell you that it's prime real estate, because here's the reality. Those services, most of the rankings, the people who get the highest rankings are the guys who get to go to camps. And if you can't afford to go to camps or you can't make it to camps, you don't get those ratings as high. A la Josh Jacobs. So that and as I said that, Virgil Williams said, I got 2 words for you, Josh Jacobs. And what happened is, and that happens often, but also look at X and Joe, look at what happens to the 5 stars. Joe, I wish we could find it. It was a couple years ago where they went back and did a statistic. Other than Saban, the 5 stars that go to college, because what they say is 5 stars are the future first rounders. That's how they pick a 5-star. It was like 17 to 20% or some crazy number like that that actually translate. And someone else said 2 words, Blake Barnett. So, X and Joe, what did that coach? The reason I read what the coach said is what excites me. This kid came in as a 3-star. He hadn't played word. The kid is a kid who has proven that he could play at the high level. Maybe didn't have a quarterback that could get him the ball. I don't know what's going on at Louisville, but I know that the coach said this kid doesn't want to be known. And according to Curtis Lewis, he just said another 2 words, Ronaldo Nehemiah. He just, to your point, Curtis, this kid coach just said he doesn't want to be known as a Ronaldo Nehemiah. He doesn't want to be known just for his speed. So he spent all spring working to what? Become a complete wide receiver. That's what some people said about what's his name? I mean, what's his name at Ohio State was a flop. He was on his way to being a bust at Ohio State. Jameson Williams was.
Yeah, Jameson was a guy that had 11 catches before he came here?
Yes, he was on his way to being a bust at Ohio State. So, like I said, I mean, you want to get guys who are recruited. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you want to go out and sign a bunch of 3-star, but I'm also, what did Nick Saban say, Joe, X? If he brings somebody in, it's because he thinks that person is better. So this kid may not even, Nick Saban, he said he was coming to Alabama. We hadn't heard Alabama say they want him. So, Let's get Robert in. Robert, you in with the Martin Hughes Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, guys.
Hey, now.
Hey, so I guess I don't really know a whole lot about the band kids and the tackles. That's just, not like watch a whole lot of Vanderbilt State or games. So I'm not sure about them at all. I guess Nick Saban wants them. He must be pretty good. So, and can they actively recruit players in the transfer portal, or was it just Nick Saban's back signal he was putting out during his press conferences that, hey, we need time? That guys to come to Alabama.
Once their name goes in the portal, there's a 24 to 48 hour window that the current school has to get their name listed once a player requests to be in the portal. Once their name is in the portal, they can be contacted by other schools and recruited. Yeah. Yep.
That's why it has that free agency feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay, I wasn't sure how the process worked, and I know Nick Saban sent a lot of signals out there about the tackle position, offensive line.
Yeah, he took an official visit the first Saturday of the spring practice. He was on campus watching the guys practice, and the guys practicing saw him on campus. So, yeah. So, yeah.
That's a pretty good motivation there. I don't know. Jackson Wade might have been a bust had he stayed at Ohio State. But man, it would have been hard to imagine him not getting on the field at some time and showing out against, because the receivers of Ohio State last season, they didn't look anything special. Not like Jameson Williams, but
Robert, they had 3 guys at Ohio State last year that had not over 900 yards. Chris Olave, who was the oldest of the bunch, had I think 950, and then you had Garrett, and he's a first-round draft pick. Garrett Wilson had over 1,000. He's a first-round draft pick. And Jackson Smith in England, who was their best wide receiver, was only a sophomore.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. And so had he, but what's it call it, in his first 2 years, I'm not saying he would have been a buzz. I don't think he would have. I'm saying he was on his way to being a buzz or a disappointment at Ohio State. He comes to Alabama and they're able to work him in, and he becomes a superstar. He gets 1,500 yards or whatever it was, 70-something receptions. And I'm saying that this kid, that once again, a 3-star 3 years into playing college football, I'll take that guy. If he has matured and gotten better, I'll take that guy over a projected 5-star that may be able to play at the college level. One of the hardest things for wide receivers to learn to do is to deal with the speed of the game and learn how to get off the ball and go against DBs. Separation. To me, that's
just look at Tommy Brockermeyer. I mean, this guy was supposed to be all world, and he's working with the 3rd string offensive line right now. And you've got Tyler Booker, a freshman, working with the 2s. And Tyler Steen was a 3-star coming out.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, most Alabama fans would take Tyler Steen today over Tommy.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying is it's just, and that's part of it. Don't get me wrong. I don't want Alabama to start recruiting a bunch of 3-stars. I'm just saying that Nick Saban has said if he brings a guy in, he's bringing that guy in because he thinks he makes this team better, and this guy adds something that Alabama doesn't have, or he's better than the guys we have. And so far, that has proven to be the case.
Definitely be the case. I guess it's stand correctly with the Ohio State season.
Oh yeah, their receivers were really, really good, and they are really, really talented and all of that. But also, I'm gonna tell you, I take their stats with a grain of salt. But I think all 3 of them will be first rounders, just like Alabama's were a couple years ago. But Ohio State still, they run up the score. and they keep throwing even when they're up by, like where Nick Saban takes their out of the ball, Ohio State never does, and they throw the ball. I would love to see. I don't even know statistically, according, they had a Heisman finalist as well at quarterback, and they had more games where they had to play a lot more this past year too, and had to throw that thing around. So sometimes statistics like that can be deceiving, but I think those three wide receivers were talented. And we got a home run with Jameson Williams, so we'll take it. We're glad that he couldn't break into that rotation at Ohio State.
Yeah, I just don't believe it would have been a first round if he said Ohio State. He would definitely have lost that job.
Yeah, he if he had been a first round, it would have been after this year. It wouldn't. I don't think he would have had the season he had there, that he had at Alabama, without a doubt. And like I said, this guy Tyler Harrell may not be worth anything, but if you can add a guy that runs a 4.2, 4.3, he's always a threat. And if you got enough other guys in other positions underneath receivers and things like that, it gives you the option to stretch the field. And with Bryce Young and his accuracy, I would say that Tyler Harrell instantly becomes better when Bryce Young is throwing the ball to him versus the kid at Louisville. Does that make him a first rounder? Probably not. But does it make him a legit threat to make you have to cover the field from end zone to end zone, as well as sideline to sideline? Yes. And that's something I don't know that we have right now. We may have it, but I don't know if we do. I know a man that averages 29.1 yards per catch in the ACC. I'll take him. So, all right, coming back up. All right, thanks, Robert. Coming back on the other side, we'll continue the conversation right here on the Martin Houston Show. Hey, go out, check out Southmark Design. Southmark Design, official outfitter of the Martin Houston Show at southmarkdesign.com.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, good Wednesday morning to traffic light, no active wrecks. We do have some light shower activity around the area, so please slow down and be careful. If you see conditions, just give me a call, 205-886-8886. Now's the time to save at your hometown dealer. It's Townsend Nissan of Tuscaloosa. Great selection. Go see them. I'm Captain Bray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard, right next door to Alabama 1, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
Straight Talk Wireless now has the new iPhone 13 with cinematic mode, which lets you focus on what matters. And with Straight Talk, you can focus on getting the best deal. Our Silver Unlimited plan is just $45 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. And it runs on the largest, most dependable networks, now with nationwide 5G. With the iPhone 13 on Straight Talk, you can share whatever you want, wherever you want. Straight Talk Wireless. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school. That education got me to the first day at my dream job, which I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job and the home loan benefits I got from the Army National Guard helped me buy my first house. I also know that I will be one of the first to respond if my community ever needs me.
Sponsored by the Alabama Army National Guard. Aired by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
Nick Saban calls it the process. John Maxwell said that everything rises and falls on it. And Coach Wooden said it's what you learn after you think you know it all that makes the difference. What am I talking about? Leadership and personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church, your family, are they receiving the proper level of leadership development and personal development? If not, the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring can help you with that. We have our pep talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com. That's peptalks35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.org. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9.
All right. Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. I want to remind you about Alabama One Insurance. Alabama One Insurance hosts our 2-minute warning. Alabama One Insurance, your one source for all your insurance needs, auto, home, life, and commercial. We'll review your policy, reduce your premium, and you can relax knowing that you're properly covered. Check out alabamaoneinsurance.com or stop by the main location located off of Veteran Memorial Parkway, or as us old folks know it, 15th Street, right next to the Home Depot. That's alabamaoneinsurance.com. All right. Question for you guys. Is Dabo Swinney, is he potentially hurting his program in the long run, or is he right? Made a statement last week. I think there's going to be a complete blow up, especially in football, and there needs to be. I think eventually there will be some type of break and another division. Right now, you got everybody in one group, and it's not feasible. Alabama has different problems than Middle Tennessee, but we're trying to make them all the same. It's just not. I wonder why he didn't say Clemson has different problems. Anyway, I think you'll have 40 or 50 teams and a commissioner, and here are the rules. And he talks about, college football the way a lot of people, are talking about it. A lot of people say it's the Wild Wild West. It's out of control. He talks about the bureaucracy and the lack of communication and outdated rules. And you got all these people voting on things, talking about all of the different D1 teams voting, but it's not apples to apples. And of course, part of that is around NIL and transfer portal. Right off the bat, when you hear that Dabo's blown up about it, do you think it's a positive or a negative story helps or hurts him at the point we've covered right now?
I think it hurts in the sense of, a lot of these schools are embracing it and they're looking of ways to have it benefit the players that they currently have and the players that they have coming in. But it sounds like Dabo's not taking that step and adjusting to the new wave and move in college football. So I think it can hurt him in the long run of some of the guys that he would potentially be able to get.
Yeah, Joe, you have any thought on whether it's helping or hurting him based on what you hear when you read that article?
Oh, I think it hurts him. I think Dabo has been hurt over the last maybe 2 or 3 years since the NIL and transfer portal's kind of been on his doorstep. But the overall sentiment of his comments, I think, are absolutely correct. I do think that college football is heading to a place where You're going to get a little separation from the haves and the have-nots because you are playing different games. But to your first question, is he hurting his own program? Yes, his old school attitude, not embracing the new changes, are hurting the Clemson Tigers.
Right. And so when you hear that, you would think that Dabo Swinney is against name, image, and likeness. You would think that he's against some of those things, and that's his problem or his challenge in terms of what he's saying and what's being reported. You just walk away thinking Dabo Swinney is against name, image, and likeness and all of that, because no one's gonna dig into all his other comments. They're gonna take the highlights and the headline. But here's what he says about name, image, and likeness. He's for name, image, and likeness. He's against the devaluing of education. He said those two statements don't go together. He admits it's a bit of a slippery slope. He says there's no rules, no guidance, no nothing, Swinney said of NIL. It's out of control. It's not sustainable. It's an absolute mess and a train wreck. Well, that's what we're all saying. And the kids are going to be the ones who suffer in the end. There are going to be a lot of kids that end up with no degrees and make decisions based on the wrong thing. Correct once again, and it's clear that NIL can and has been used as a recruiting incentive, which is, to Swinney's point, that all schools and conferences aren't created equal. So on name, image, and likeness, oh my God, he's against it. Well, they rolled out their version of NIL collaborative before we did. They have something called REIGN, REIGN. So he. But you would not expect that to be the case. You would not think that based on what you're hearing from him, that he's for it, or that he's doing anything to help it, because it doesn't sound like he is. But he also recognizes it. So that's why I said, even though it sounds like he just totally 100% against it. Then on the transfer portal, he says Clemson will only use the portal to fill a needed position what has been vacated. Well, at that point, would you say Nick Saban has done the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Is Nick Saban just taking guys from any position, or can you point directly to a need with every transfer that he's gotten? Okay.
Every single one so far.
And he said he won't use it to get better at a position that has already been filled through recruitment. In essence, it won't be free agency. The problem is Alabama did address some of their stuff through recruitment, but they didn't know they were going to lose, everybody through early draft, right? So if you sign everybody in December and then you have additional guys go in January, you still put yourself in a problem. He said, my transfer portal is right there in the locker room, because if I'm constantly going out every year and adding guys from the transfer portal, I'm telling all those guys in that locker room that I don't believe in them, that I don't think they can play. Swinney said, we're also not doing our jobs as coaches and recruiters if we're bringing in a bunch of transfers. So he may create loyalty on his team, but will it end up costing him, guys, in the end?
Well, I mean, I think it could, and not this. I think it could, for the simple fact that at the end of the day, you might recruit a guy and that guy's just not it.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens. We see it happen all the time. You can have all the 5 stars in the world, and a percentage of them turn into bust. It's a part of the game. So I don't know why you still wouldn't go help your team in any way, shape, form, or fashion.
And think about this, Joe. Nick Saban came out and said, if I bring a guy in, I'm bringing that guy in because he's better than the ones in the locker room. I mean, does that motivate his Alabama or hurt Alabama?
I'm kind of starting to lean towards I don't know, with the Louisville kid on the horizon. I'm kind of leaning towards that's hurting Alabama because of you're stunting your own growth and your own roster development.
Yep.
Maybe that's just a short-sighted view, but
Nope.
I feel bad for those wide receivers getting passed over.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I said it. I said it when before there was a transfer portal. I said it when it was a grad transfer. I said that somewhere along the line, and I didn't say it about Alabama, but I said when Jalen Hurts was a third transfer to come in at quarterback, despite being recruited at Oklahoma, I said at some point that's going to catch up with Oklahoma. If you're a quarterback, you're going to say, why would I go play for Lincoln Riley as a recruit? Because all he's going to do is go bring in an experienced quarterback. I think that could happen at Alabama if you're not careful. So Dabo saying what he says is true in some ways, but I think it's not necessarily, Joe, back to your point, that he's wrong in what he's saying. The problem is the way he's saying it, it comes across negative if I'm a high school kid, I think, because I'm going, hold on, if I go there, my coach isn't going to be fighting for me to get name, image, and likeness. And even and Nick Saban and all these other guys, man, they're fighting for their guys, right? But on the other side, if you have smart football players and football players who want to get education, Dabo may become, the home where all of the educated guys, the guys who are focused on education and are good football players, go play, because he's going to emphasize. And I know that a lot of moms and dads will love that about Dabo. So it's kind of a mixed bag of what you're doing. But to your point, Joe, if that kid comes in and plays again, it could hurt the wide receiver room. It could hurt the kid who, if you're a kid, that's considering being a wide receiver and committing to Alabama next year, does that hurt? And that, we don't have enough time to dig into. We can dig into that a little bit more. Transfer portal, and the way Saban used it, could it end up hurting Alabama in the long run, or does Alabama still end up okay because of the record they have of putting multiple wide receivers in the same draft? So you still get your chance, and you only need one season at Alabama to be a receiver, to be the man to get to the first round. So that seems to be a trend that's beginning to happen. So we'll continue that conversation in terms of name, image, and likeness, transfer portal. We'll get deeper into the high tide tradition, what that means for Bama. I know that Nick Saban's been on a speaking tour to the Red Elephant Clubs and others talking about this. And putting an emphasis on it. So we'll see what it does for Alabama. Come back on the other side. We'll catch up with Scotty Hollins, Executive Director of Blueprint Ministries, presented by Johnson & Marshall Dentistry, the Christian Moment of the Week, up next.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, good Wednesday morning to you. Traffic light, no active wrecks. We do have some light shower activity around the area, so please slow down and be careful. If you see conditions, just give me a call, 205-886-8886. Now's the time to save at your hometown dealer. It's Townsend Nissan of Tuscaloosa. Great selection. Go see them. I'm Captain Bray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread. Good Wednesday morning. The enhanced risk area for severe weather has been extended farther to the southeast to now cover all of Lamar County and the western half of Fayette and Pickens counties. The remainder of the region remains under a slight risk. The main threat to West Alabama is expected to begin around 8 o'clock tonight. It should run through the early morning hours of Thursday. You can keep up with the weather on Operation Stormwatch. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news, sports, and weather coverage. It's free. Don Hartley, Townsburg Media, Tuscaloosa.
How do you make the most of your mow? Tony and Melissa do it on a John Deere Z530M Z-Track mower.
Jump out of the house, a cup of coffee, and I'm at work.
Here, riding around, it's like going on a go-kart. And for Rodney, he uses his John Deere X350 lawn tractor to turn his yard into
a happy place. It's a great place to do Tai Chi. I work on my mind, body, and well-being.
There are millions of ways to make the most of your mow. Learn how to make the most of yours at Deere.com. Nothing runs like a Deere.
In a collision, easy decision. Make one call to one name, Mesrano, 206-6300.
No representation with the quality legal services to be performed. Takes where the quality legal services performed by the law.
Tuscaloosa Tire and Service, they've got the big brands you know and trust. Goodyear, Firestone, Bridgestone, Cooper, and they can finance for you as well. When you need routine maintenance and alignment, a tune-up, whatever it is, belts, hoses, just basic stuff, or when you don't know what's wrong with your car, truck, or SUV, make it Tuscaloosa Tire and Service. They're dependable, they're trustworthy. That's why they've lasted for over 36 years. Skyland Boulevard, McFarland Boulevard East in Northport on Lorraine Wallace Boulevard. Check out the website TuscaloosaTireandService.com.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
We've got Scotty on your back.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. It's now time for our weekly catch-up with Executive Director of Blueprint Ministries, Scotty Hollins. Good morning, Scotty. How you doing, sir?
Man, I'm doing great. How are you doing, Martin?
Doing well. Hey, I want to toss it to you to encourage us how we can incorporate our faith into the boardroom, classroom, our chosen field of play, so much more than a Sunday routine. Thanks for taking some time to encourage us. So I'll toss it to you for the Johnson & Marshall Dentistry Christian Moment of the Week.
Absolutely, man. Hey, I want to start a new series coming up soon, actually probably next week, called The Power of Optimism. And looking at what the foundation of optimism is from the Bible, from the scriptures, and like looking at just, again, the power of that. And when you think about optimism, Martin, you can think about like literally just looking at the bright side, always seeing the bright side. You know what I mean? Being able to find that in the midst of a dark and difficult situation. So we'll look at, hey, the power of it, but then we'll look at the foundation of it. We'll look at what it looks like, and we'll follow our guy Paul, the Apostle Paul, around a little bit. And so I was going to start that today, but I was thinking, man, well, Sunday's Easter. So I thought, you know what, hey, let's jump into that one next week. And so when I think about, again, Easter Sunday, man, I have so many amazing memories. And when I think about growing up as a kid and you know, having my Easter speech at my church. Speech, you had to be in the Easter play, or like it was a big to do. Now the interesting thing is, growing up kind of in the church and being a part of all that, it never clicked for me what it was all about. I knew that Jesus died on the cross for our sins, and I knew that he rose on the third day. And I knew that's what we were celebrating for Easter, but I just, you know, I just didn't know like what that meant for me. You know what I mean? And again, as I told the story many times, at least several times on your show, you know, I made a decision. I was a walk-on at UAB, and I was invited to a Bible study and an evangelistic Bible study where they shared with me what it meant to be a Christian. And so all that to say, hearing the message, the gospel, you know, God used that time to open my eyes to his amazing grace. And so when I think about, you talk about, you know, being our best in the boardroom and on the field, you know, the classroom and the field of play, wherever we are, being our best. Really, honestly, when we get to this, the power of optimism, I can lay the foundation right now, at least part of the foundation. And the foundation of optimism is just really just Jesus Christ. And so I'll explain that. So when I think about, you know, my life before Christ, okay, and I'll just say, my life before Christ was, you know, it was all about me, and pretty much I did what I wanted to, when I wanted to, how I wanted to, and when someone, you know, when this guy, his name is Bart Benson, he's an athletic trainer, when he had this Bible study, he helped me to understand who Jesus was, what he had done, and what that meant to me. And so who is Jesus? Jesus, of course, I mean, I'll give you the short version, and we got 2 minutes left. Jesus lived a perfect life. You know, everybody knows John 3:16, for God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son, right? that whosoever will believe in him will not perish but have everlasting life. Well, how is that possible? How is it possible that if we place our faith in him, and if we give our life to him, that we'll have eternal life? And it's because Jesus lived a perfect life. He never sinned once. Jesus also died on the cross for our sins. So once he lived that perfect life, it qualified him to die on the cross for our sins. Well, Romans 5:8 talks about, it says, God demonstrates his love for us in this: while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. When we think about Jesus dying on the cross, think about the fact that he gave us his best, his life, when we were at our worst as sinners. And so here he is. He lived a perfect life. He died on the cross for our sins. He rose on the third day. And that's what we'll celebrate on Sunday. And it's awesome, Martin, that it's been, a couple thousand years, and we still celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? And I think that is so special. But I want to make sure that, when we go on Sunday, for those who, I think the two most, attended Sundays of the year for church, Christmas and Easter, right? Right?
That's right.
We have a few extra visitors at your church, but I just don't want to ever take for granted that he lived that perfect life, that he died on the cross, that he rose on the third day. And again, here's a 44-year-old old man. I'm speaking to you, Scotty Hollins, and I made that decision at the age of 19. It's literally been 25 years since I've had the privilege of accepting Jesus as my Lord and Savior. And it is a great privilege to live my life off the throne, submit it to the one who is sitting on the throne, and that's Jesus Christ. So I will start that message, that series of Power of Optimism next week, but I just wanted to make sure that we understood the real true meaning of Easter.
Absolutely. And hey, listen, I encourage you, if you're searching, if you're wanting to get back in to it, or you've never been, I would encourage you to find yourself somewhere to worship this Sunday. I'm going to be highlighting that resurrection, and my message is more than a savior, because not only did he take care of business after life, he took care of business for you and I on this earth as well. So, and that's why I can be optimistic, because no matter what trials or tribulations I face, I'm going to be okay. It's all going to work together as long as I love him and know my purpose. So, hey, we'll get into that. Looking forward to that new, and tell them real quick where they can find you, Scotty.
You two steps ahead of me already, Martin. You're free to expect that. You can find me at www.blueprints.com. Send me a message there. Come straight to Facebook.
All right. Thanks, Scotty. Have a blessed one, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, X, for being part of the show. We'll be back on tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Have a blessed day, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks, Joe. Thanks to all the callers, listeners, chatters, and viewers for being a part of the show. Thanks to all of the producers and interns pressing all the right buttons for the Martin Houston Show. Remember this: trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. More Alabama football and more on tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9.
Have a great day.
100.9 Tide 100.